So welcome to this edition of Wait a Minute, where I'm interviewing various lady bosses on how they stay healthy and centered for the holidays. Today with us, we have lady boss Adrienne Kimberley, who is the founder and creator of the Bohemian Method, as well as the co-creator of an amazing yoga app called Down Dog, which has over 200,000 users. Mm-hmm. So welcome to Wait a Minute, Adrienne.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So before we dive deeper into the discussion, I'd love to know, what does self-care mean to you?
That's a great question. Self-care to me means just refilling your cup. You know, it means going out of your way for you. And for your own sense of nourishment, feeling nourished with actions that you do yourself. Yeah,
I love that visual of just like refilling your cup, right? Like sometimes we get so lost in the like pouring out, the giving, the doing, and like I love that vision of just like, is my cup filled? And I love that.
Yeah.
What are ways that you practice taking care of yourself, especially during the holidays? Like, what are things that you do that protect kind of your time, your space, so that you can make sure that your cup is still filled?
Yeah. The holidays are a really challenging time for me, and I think they are for a lot of women, honestly, because we're balancing taking care of our families. And a lot of times the women are kind of in charge of the social gatherings and the way that people are being pulled together. And then we're also working. And so there's just a lot of pressure. And at least for me, sometimes I want to push myself aside first and just be like, well, all this other stuff is important and I'll figure out taking care of myself a little later. And I think the way that the best way that I've been able to work in self-care during the holidays is just making like very specific time that I'm not obligated for anyone else. And as an entrepreneur, as someone who is running my own businesses, like the work never stops. And around the holidays, it actually like ramps up in this really big way where people are being super conscious about their health and their fitness. And it's super tempting to be like, oh, there's so much I have to do. I need to be on constantly. But if I just set the boundary that I set is to let go and to say, I don't have to control anything right now. From this time to this time at night, I'm not going to be doing any work. I'm not going to be going out of my way for anyone else. Just going to be here for myself. And I know I have that luxury because I don't have children, because I imagine having children would add an additional layer of complexity. Yeah, so I guess to make that more concise, just setting boundaries where nothing has to be done and letting yourself sit in that space where you feel like there is stuff that has to be done, but you're choosing to give yourself the space to refill, you know?
Yeah. So it's like just talking about like giving yourself permission to like not do, right? Permission to not be the female matriarch of whatever size family or community you're in, but of really creating just like that non-doing space.
Exactly. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And even if you are antsy and you're like, oh, but I need to do like that, that means that you need the stillness more than
Totally. And a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women, you know, we're perfectionists and we want to be doing many things and keep working. And what you just said, like, you know, noticing that you're an entrepreneur and you're in the health and fitness industry and wellness industry. And it's just like, there's so much more you feel like you could be doing and supporting and reaching out, but just to be like, oh, and
Yeah.
dedicate that space, give myself permission, and just kind of breathe.
Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
breathe.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's really not about saying like, I have to get this many massages in, and I need to make sure I'm eating vegetables, and I need to, hold back on the wine. To me, self-care is like to release that constant drive to control, that constant drive to do and be, and let yourself be enough. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So kind of like really living in that wholehearted space that you're already complete without feeling like there's one more class you have to take or less food you have to eat to be whole and complete.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. Are there ways that you practice or rituals or routines that you practice during that non-doing piece of yourself that kind of help you feel restored and nourishing your cup?
Yeah. I really love to listen to guided meditations. I'm someone who gets inspiration from others. That's why I love group fitness, and that's why I started, yoga and bar studio, because that's how I love to refill, is with community. So these guided meditations are just like really glorious and can transform how you think about your day in just 5 minutes. And the ones specifically that I've really enjoyed are, there's an app called Headspace, and it's just like 5-minute meditations when you start.
Yeah.
And then the Cody app has a bundle by Megan Curry called Marinate. And she just walks you through these visualizations with breathing at most, and with imagination. It's completely resetting, pulling you out of that thinking, doing, being mind and into the body wisdom, the deep heart wisdom that's hard to access when you're just in your head.
Yeah. So helping to turn off that thinking mind and really be in the being mind. Meditation for you is a huge aspect.
Yeah, totally. And I do it even when I'm, if I'm really busy and it's hard to just like take time and do it. I do it while I'm in the car. I'll just listen to a meditation while I'm in traffic, and that's really healing. The other thing that I do, and I started doing just with my fiance doing it, so I just kind of copied him, is just play like really gorgeous, soothing music. Like as if you could imagine what like a beach in heaven would feel like. If there, if you believe in heaven, or if there's such things as heaven, or whatever, a bliss, an oasis, and what it would sound like. That's the type of music we try to like pull together this playlist. And when nerves are really high, like yesterday, nerves were super high, we just play it, and it just chills us out, pulls us back into a place of relaxation.
So music being another tool that kind of brings you into that non-doing, just being state, and soothing the emotional thinking mind that can kind of get us spiraling, especially during the holiday craziness.
Totally.
How do you practice? And again, I say practice because a practice not perfect, but how do you practice saying what you want to say yes and no to during the holidays? Right? There's like getting invited, especially being an entrepreneur and owning studios in Seattle, knowing that you're probably getting invited to so many different community events. How do you kind of know what you want to say yes and what you want to say no to?
That's a great question. My friend, Rhea Bourne, she's an acupuncture therapist and an Eastern medicine like guru. She's amazing. And she wrote this article on what she calls resourcing.
Mm.
And resourcing is when you do something and it feels like it's feeding the source of who you are. And sometimes resourcing can be staying in and being with yourself and connecting. Other times it can be going out and expanding and growing through other people. And so really what I ask myself is this resourcing? You know, is this experience the relationships that I'll cultivate from this party that I go to?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be something that is really helping me grow my source, refill my cup? And if the answer is no, and it's just like, well, I just feel obligated because this person did something nice for me, then I have to have that kind of hard conversation with myself. And then I have to be okay with not pleasing everyone and say, you know, I'd love to, you know, I really appreciate the invite, but tonight I need to stay in. Yeah.
Well, so using that word resourcing as your kind of North Star guide of, does this fuel me, you know, ramp me up, feed me, or is this an obligation? Is this depleting me? Is this kind of a drain?
Exactly. Oh, it's a fantastic way to phrase it. Is it a drain on the energy?
Yeah.
And there's this balance. It's like not everything we do can be resourcing, but trying to, you know, balance your life so that most of the things you're doing are resourcing. And that way, when the things that are a little more depleting of your energy arise, you're ready.
Right.
You know, and you feel like you can give to that space.
I love it because it's not, right, and again, it's a practice, right? It's like that, what you said, it's a balance, and knowing that you're not always going to kind of get it right, but that if you have awareness of what is feeding you and what is resourcing you, what is fueling you, then you're able to kind of make more conscious, intentional choices as the holidays progress on, and then even into the new year and into, you know, your next life.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. What is one piece of advice you love to live by, but sometimes don't always live by it?
Ooh. To practice yoga every day. I love that advice because I really love yoga and I teach yoga almost every day.
Right.
But I think the physical practice, while I know that if I practiced every single day and had this, you know, very focused way of practicing, I could go, you know, my body could do these really incredible things, and I could probably really push my insights on how I teach. And so I've had that advice from many people, you know, practice every day, and all yoga is all about the practice. But what I've found is that that's really hard for me to do. It's hard time-wise, and like physically it's hard to do, energetically it's hard to do. And so I'm not as good with that, and maybe I'll get better, but when I'm not practicing yoga, I'm still thinking about yoga, you know, and I'm usually reading or meditating or planning and creating the yoga world.
And you have created yoga spaces. So if you're not practicing yourself, you're probably also even just creating the yoga space and intention for your students and the teachers that you work with.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, as we head into the holidays, what is one of your favorite holiday recipes that you are excited to taste, whether it's something maybe your family makes or something that you're going to make, but when you think about it, you're just like, the holidays in my belly.
Every Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm super excited about Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, there. Love Brussels sprouts.
I used to hate Brussels sprouts. And then one day I had roasted Brussels sprouts with maple syrup and little bits of bacon and candied pecans or walnuts or something. I forget which one. Probably pecans.
Yeah.
And ever since I tasted that, I fell in love with Brussels sprouts. And now they're just such a seasonal thing that I look forward to every fall and winter. Yeah. And every party I go to, I'm like, I'll bring the Brussels sprouts. Like that's what I think of and I know how to make.
I love that because it's so true. I've met so many people who like either coaching clients or whatever, we're talking about like different vegetables and how much fun you can have with vegetables. And, we bring up Brussels sprouts and a lot of people have only had them like steamed or, and I'm like, oh, steamed Brussels sprouts. Like that is, you have not experienced the deliciousness of roasted Brussels.
No, steamed Brussels sprouts is the worst.
Yeah, it just does not smell good. Does not make you want to even touch it. So yes, I totally agree with you on Brussels sprouts. And yum, what a great recipe. Well, thank you so much, Adrienne, for being here and sharing your light and your wisdom and how we can all be a little bit more intentional and centered as we head into the holidays.
Yeah, well, thank you, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Where can people learn more about you?
Oh, yeah. So a few places, 3 main websites. My website, adriennekimberley.com. And there you'll find all my classes and everything that I'm up to. To check out my studios, the bar and the yoga studios, it's Bohemian-Studios.com. To find Down Dog App, it's just downdogapp.com. Yeah.
Awesome. And Down Dog is a great app. I've been telling my clients and everyone to download it because it's such a great way to practice yoga on the go. And a great, even tool to use during the holiday, especially as people travel.
Totally. I get the most testimonials from people who are traveling and they say, oh, thank you. I don't have to find a yoga studio and I only have 15 minutes and I can still do my yoga practice.
Yeah.
So yes, check it out. It's also great for moms. I get a lot of testimony from moms because they can just set up their phone and do it in the middle of the living room and their little babes are just walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We'll make sure to check the bar studios and all of your teachings and your classes and definitely the app.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.